Hallo, guten Morgen. Welcome everyone to Now German and guten Morgen Sie.
Guten Morgen, Gregor. Welcome.
Oh, I just forgot who you are. Who are you?
Ich bin Sie.
Well, yes, exactly. That's what we learned recently. And in this lesson, we'll also learn how you ask about who someone is and also ask a few other questions because we are all humans and aren't we all curious humans and want to know more about others?
Yes.
I think, okay, I'm about to spread some rumors about someone. So before I do that, let's quickly jump into our dialogue. And so this time I'm going to start. Wer bist du?
Ich bin Sie.
Was sprichst du?
Ich spreche Chinesisch.
Wo bist du?
Ich bin in Britannien.
Woher kommst du?
Ich komme aus China.
Yes, let's look at the words that we learn in this dialogue. And the nice thing is all these question words, they start with V. What is V in English?
How?
No, the letter V in English is W. I'm just translating the letter because V might not still be familiar to you. So V is W, and all the question words start with that in German. And so the first one we have here is wer.
Wer?
That is who. And then we have was.
Was?
That is what. And the next is not a question word, but it appears in the dialogue. That is in.
In.
Yes, and this literally in is the same in German and in English, basically. And then we have wo.
Wo?
Yeah, wo means where. And lastly, we have woher.
Woher?
Yeah, woher, that is from where. We just put it in one word when we use German. And be careful, the tricky thing here is that the German wer is not the same as the English where. So students often confuse that. But English where, what is that in German?
Wo?
Exactly. And then German wer, what is that in English?
Who?
Yes, exactly. So that's just good to be aware of. And we'll look at a lot of countries and languages in a second. But first, let's go through the dialogue again. Wer bist du?
Ich bin Sie.
Was sprichst du?
Ich spreche Chinesisch.
Wo bist du?
Ich bin in Britannien.
Woher kommst du?
Ich komme aus China.
Yes, very nice. And now we'll look at a lot of countries, and these are a lot of words. So I suggest you don't you don't remember all of them, but you just do maybe the ones that are relevant to your life, like where you're from, where you want to go to. And but it's still good you heard them once. And also, good thing is they're very similar to English, so a lot of them are very easy to remember. And we ordered them by the largest economies in the world, the top 10, and a few additional interesting and relevant ones, because this is the countries you're most likely to come from and talk about. So we start with die USA.
Die USA.
That's another spelling challenge, right? Whenever we have words that are all capital letters, we'll of course use the German spelling, die USA, and that's the USA. What's special about this word? Do you know?
It's die.
Yes. Is it feminine?
Yes.
It's not feminine. It's a tricky one, but this is plural. So the word die can either be feminine or it can be plural. And if you think about it, even in English, it's the United States. It's a plural word. Actually, it's not feminine. It is masculine, but it's plural. So that's why it's die. And as an exception, most other countries don't use any article. And so, for example, or before we go to the next one, the language spoken in the USA is English.
English.
Yes, that is English. And be careful, it is E, not E. So we say English.
English.
Yes, great. And then number 2, that's where you're from. What is that?
China.
Yes, that is, of course, China. And what language do you speak?
Chinesisch.
Exactly, Chinese. And number 3, you heard about it previously, that is Deutschland.
Deutschland.
That's Germany. And the language is Deutsch.
Deutsch.
Yeah, German. And number 4, Japan.
Japan.
That's Japan. And the language is Japanisch.
Japanisch.
That's Japanese. And next, we have the world's largest country, not company, country. Yes, that is Indian.
Indian.
India. And the most popular language there is Hindi.
Hindi.
Yes, and that's an interesting one because all other languages that you see on our list in German, they always end with ish, right?
Yes.
That's an easy way to tell it's an adjective in German. English, Chinesisch, Deutsch, Japanisch. But Hindi, we didn't add ish. We don't say Hindish. That would be weird. We just say Hindi.
Hindi.
Exactly. And then the country where you are right now is Britannien.
Britannien.
Yes, that is Britain. And we have the language already. We said it before. It is English.
English.
English, yes. So Britain is an interesting one because there are also kind of countries inside of the country. So you could also say, ich bin in England.
England.
Yes, England is just England, but we don't want to exclude the Scots and Welsh and Northern Irish, right? So we say Britannien.
Britannien.
Yes, and then we have Frankreich.
Frankreich.
That is France, and the language is Französisch.
Französisch.
Yes, be careful. It is not Französisch, but Französisch.
Französisch.
Yes, the German Z can be kind of hard sometimes. Yeah, people complain in general about the German language being very hard sounding, and this is just one more of these examples. And then we have Italian.
Italian.
Yes, the stress here is really on the second syllable. You don't want to say Italian or Italien or something like that. It's Italian.
Italian.
And in English, that's Italy. So yeah, the stress is really different between English and German. And the language is Italienisch.
Italienisch.
Yeah, and here the stress moves to the E. It's not Italienisch, but Italienisch, right? Italienisch.
Yes. Italienisch.
And that's, of course, Italian. And then another, a bit tricky one to pronounce, it is Canada.
Canada.
Yeah, that's Canada. And the pronunciation of the letter A, or you would call it A in English, is just like a very bright A. You don't switch it to A, you just keep it A. Canada.
Canada.
Yes, and they also speak, what languages do they speak? They have two, actually.
English.
And?
Französisch.
That's right. Great. We already looked at both of them. And then we have number 10, that is Brazilian.
Brazilian.
That's Brazil, probably you can guess. And the language is Portuguesisch.
Portugiesisch.
That's Portuguese. Yes. And then I added another country that's not in the top 10, but so many people speak that language. I really wanted to add it. That is Spanien.
Spanien.
That is Spain. And as we heard earlier with the verb sprechen, to speak, in the case of SP in German, we always pronounce it sp. So we say Spanien.
Spanien.
Yeah, and it's the same with the language. That is Spanish.
Spanish.
Yes. So the sound of the beginning S and the final S, which is SH in English, is the same in German. Spanish is Spanish.
Spanish.
Yes. And then just two more names that are very important in the context of German language. That is die Schweiz.
Die Schweiz.
That's Switzerland. And the language, most common language there is Deutsch, which is?
German.
Yeah. What are the other two major languages spoken in Switzerland in German? Do you know?
Französisch und Italienisch.
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 Yes, exactly. And then the last one to look at is your favorite, Österreich,
Österreich,
Austria, and they also speak mostly Deutsch.
Deutsch.
All right. I'm going to tell you a few different countries in German, and you can tell me the language spoken there also in German, okay?
Okay.
China,
Chinesisch,
Frankreich,
Französisch,
Italien.
Italienisch,
That's right. And Japan
Japanisch,
and Indian.
in Hindi,
Yeah, that's right. And then lastly, the USA.
Englisch.
All right. Makes sense?
Yes.
Great. Then let's look at our dialogue one last time. Wer bist du?
Ich bin sie.
Was sprichst du?
Ich spreche Chinesisch.
Wo bist du?
Ich bin in Britannien.
Woher kommst du?
Ich komme aus China.
All right. And now, when you meet someone you don't know, you know how to ask them, who are you in German? How do you ask that?
Wo bist du?
Wo bist du? That means, where are you? And if I want to ask, who are you?
Wer bist du?
That's right. Perfect. And then if I ask you, wer bist du? What would you say?
Ich bin sie.
Yes. And wo bist du?
Ich bin in Britannien.
Yes. Great. All right. Any questions?
All good.
Great. Then vielen Dank. Thank you everyone for listening and watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Tschüss. Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.